Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 81 of An Untold Narrative. And today we have two guests at the same time. I've only done this a few times, and I've learned how to instruct these interviews a little bit better since those learnings. Today we have guests from a different part of the globe, a part of the globe that I've never had a guest from yet. So from Brazil, we have Ian and Thais of Kickstory. Welcome to An Untold Narrative. How are you guys?
So much for inviting us.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Obviously, I had a chance to meet you in Boston when you visited the United States back last year in April, I think it was. And so thank you for interviewing me. So I figured I'd return the favor. Why don't we let's just start with what do you guys introduce yourself as? What's each of your 30-second introduction elevator pitch when you meet somebody? Thais, we'll start with you.
All right. So I'm Thais. I studied graphic design as a major. I live in São Paulo. That's where we are in the moment. I love graphic design. I worked for some period in graphic design studios. And then after some time, I start to change my type of work to fashion. Then I love fashion as well, so I try to combine both of them, working with graphic design and fashion at the same time. And then in 2016, this Kickstory thing, what we call, just appeared, and I let all my work behind, and I started to work only with Kickstory. So we've been doing this for 6 years now. Yeah, so
Wow.
quite a journey.
But yeah, I'm also a graphic designer. I also do illustrations, animations. I really like drawing and stuff. And yeah, I got a major in graphic design. I worked in some studios. Wasn't really digging the whole studio vibes, I don't know. And then Kickstory happened, and I've always been a big sneaker nerd, not head per se, but a sneakers nerd. And because I play basketball and everything, but that's where it came from. And then Kickstory just kind of happened, and it was a awesome way to put everything I liked in the same space. I was doing graphic design illustrations for sneakers, and at the same time, which is the best part, was learning to talk to people and meet other people. But if you ask me, I'm a graphic designer, illustrator. What is Kickstory is a different question, I think.
Yeah. No, but you're also when we met, you also do photography too, which you didn't even mention, but you're a great photographer as well.
Well, yeah, thank you for that. I don't even consider myself a photographer because before Kickstory, I've never picked up a camera, or even on my phone. I didn't care for it. But I guess because of graphic design, you kind of understand photography. And then I started first just taking pictures of the behind the scenes of our interviews. And then as the iPhone got better, I started doing videos, and eventually the whole thing happened. We went to New York and we interviewed Jeff Staple, and there was no one to photograph it, and I just had to take the pictures. And that
had to do it.
Yeah. So, and we had a camera at that time, so I just okay, let's do it. And now I actually really like it. I'm not a actual photographer, but I really like taking pictures on the camera and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How I'm curious as to how you two met, and then how you started Kickstory, right? Because from the background, okay, cool, they both like sneakers, they like fashion, they like graphics, so yeah, let's create an interview kind of sneaker platform. But how did you were just fuck it, I'll quit my job and do this thing full time? How did the idea start? And we'll Thais, you can give your perspective first.
Yeah. So we did college together. So we met there.
Oh, okay.
So we studied 4 years in college, and we had the same friends, and we are very close. And then we had another friend that was really into sneakers, not Asia, because it's like another level. But we were talking about like Instagram was popping up on 2016. We still didn't know what it was about, but we wanted to be part of it. And then he was like, okay, I want to do like a photographic series of people with their sneakers. So in the beginning of Kickstory, we only wanted to tell stories about people with a very, very old sneakers, like really
like beat up sneakers. Yeah. And he like took pictures.
Yeah, he was the one taking pictures. Yeah. And then we were like, okay, so he's the one taking pictures. Ian knows everything about sneakers, and I'm the one that is going to make our Instagram happen. So I will start to like get people attention to come to our Instagram, and also looking for people that we could interview. Because in the beginning, we were like just interviewing our friends, friends of friends, and then we were like, okay, maybe we have to like expand. Yeah. And then I was the one like looking for everyone that and putting up the names. Yeah. So we did that for 2 years of Kickstory, and then it was crazy because after like 5 months doing it, we talked to like Nike Brazil, saw our Instagram, and they were like, "Oh, what you're doing is really nice. You can come to this event." What was they were launching the Nike Air Force.
The one that I won?
Yeah.
It was the acronym Air Force downtown.
Oh, cool.
With the like high top kind of thing. It was like, some crazy stuff. Yeah. And it was an awesome event. I didn't know that kind of thing happened.
Yeah, we didn't know nothing about sneaker culture in Brazil. Like we didn't because like we weren't the type of people that would stay like in stores and doing lines and like sleeping on the streets.
Yeah, I don't do that either.
Yeah, like I really enjoy it, and yeah, was passionate about it, but we really didn't care about the hype, you know. It's like we just saw it and we will buy it.
So for the first 2 years that you guys were doing it, you know, when you're interviewing friends or you're kind of building it from the ground up, are you still working other jobs, or you guys both like made a decision like we're going to do this full time, we're going to figure it out?
No, we were.
Yeah, I think you were in a graphic design studio, and I was working in a fashion company, and I was their graphic designer.
Okay.
In this fashion company, and I loved my job. Like, I was like, okay, I finally find a job that I like staying in this company. I think I have a future here. And then Kickstarter was like, brands were paying attention to us because we had like the pictures were very appealing, and we were talking about sneakers, but in a different way. You know, we weren't talking about when they're launching the price and everything. We're talking about people and their relationship with sneakers. So
yeah.
And then
so at what point did you decide to say fuck it, let's do this full time? Was there like an aha moment? Was it like the Nike Brazil event? Was it, you know, the Jeff Staple interview? What was it to like go all in on it?
I think we like discussed it because it was a time we were doing like a lot of interviews. Like we did like 4 interviews on the weekend, like 2 a day, which is insane.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's like really crazy. And we would go to like all parts of the city going like after people. I think at that time we even like traveled.
Yeah.
Like to other cities.
To other cities in Brazil.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like as the brands liked the way that we took pictures and our aesthetics, they started to call us to do campaigns. So like Fila was launching a slider, and then they want us to like manage the whole campaign. So we started working on it. So Fila was our first client, and then they call us for this job. Then they called us for another job, and that's when we realized that we could earn money doing that. So we could support Kickstarter, because Kickstarter, like, there's no money involved.
We were working.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So that's when we were like, okay, maybe we can live with this. We can do campaigns with. So that's when Kickstory Productions, that is another company of ours, was created. And then when we saw that we had like more campaigns coming up, and then we could spend more time doing Kickstory, we were like, okay, maybe we can quit our jobs and invest in our future. So it was a really hard decision, but it was the best decision.
Yeah, it was really hard. Like I was working at studio, like it was a cool studio. I think I got fired, and then I was like freelancing, and I remember like Kickstory was taking a big part of my energy at that job, and like my boss actually mentioned that to me, like you're like you're doing a lot of this, and like you're coming in tired and stuff, and
like okay,
yeah, okay. So I was freelancing, and then we decided like let's quit our jobs and let's do Kickstory, and then like 2 weeks later, I got a really good offer on a place like I wanted to work, and you had like just quit your job, and I was like, oh my god, and then I was like, okay guys, thank you for the offer, but I'm gonna do this thing now, and that was like for me that was it basically, and. Yeah, and we started our production company, and we started like kind of being able to support Kickstory through that. And
Kickstory and ourselves.
Yeah, and ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you still have the production company side of your business as a whole?
Yeah. So basically, it grew a lot, and today it takes more of our time than we would like, because we would like to spend more time on Kickstory, but it's how we make money. But we do like campaigns and like graphic design work, like basically anything you need.
And because of Kickstory, like the client, like we got all the major sports brands to do campaigns with us. So we have campaigns with Adidas, Nike, Umbro, Fila, like
Mizuno.
running, Mizuno, like all the people. So that's really nice, because we do campaigns with products that we really know and we really care about. So it's easier for us to do it, because it's what we love.
We do all kinds of stuff, but I say we're like sneakers specialists when it comes to like photography, and in campaigns, like we know like what works, what doesn't work, how the sneaker has to look. If you want like something more natural, something more like a product. So I guess, and it's really cool because it's still sneaker related. I still get like kind of excited when we see like shoes that someone wants to put out and they haven't come out yet, even though they're like not like super amazing sneakers, but they're just like new. I don't know. I like that stuff. So that's how we get around. Yeah.
I didn't know all of that. That's incredible, and it's amazing that you can surround yourself with this ecosystem of work that's all related and tied through footwear, right? And it keeps you busy. It pays your bills. It keeps you energized. As you said, you're still excited about it. So now you've been doing it for 6-7 years. Kickstory. Like, I know that obviously you did the tour of the United States where you interviewed 24 people, a ton of people basically. Do you have a favorite interview from the trip, or do you like what was your favorite part of the trip, or because you met so many incredible people, right? Like, so I wanted to just highlight that trip from watching from afar. After you interviewed a handful of people just from Boston alone, and then you went to Portland and LA and all these places. So talk about that experience a little bit. I'll leave it whoever wants to start.
Yeah, I mean, that trip was like highlight of my life. I don't know, like we invested a lot on that trip, but it paid off. Like it was amazing for real. Like it's really tough to pick one interview because they're all really good. I mean, there's some people we interviewed that we like met like at the spot, like
Oh wow.
we barely like before Mark like mentioned you, like we
Oh yeah,
barely
yeah.
and we like saw like your profile and we're like, whoa, this is really cool, and we met you and you're like super nice guy, super cool interview, and we had that kind of experience, and we also had like Jason Maiden is a guy like I've been following his career for like a minute, and to like meet him in person was like, and he's
So
like
cool.
super awesome dude. He's like super humble, super nice. He was like especially nice to us. It was so cool. But like everyone, like talking to Mark was amazing. It was like different kinds of interviews. There was like more design based, one more like life based. I don't know. We did a lot of stuff. Like meeting the guys from Brand Black was also
Oh yeah.
like
Yes,
nuts.
because of you.
Yeah, because of you. It was really crazy. Like
Those guys are all, I love Billy and God damn it, David.
David. Yeah. Like also followed their work for like a long time. So it's really hard. Like we're still posting interviews from the trip. So every time we're like putting up another interview and I get to read them like a bunch of times.
Again.
It's very exciting.
I'm like, whoa, this interview is like the best. Like I get to the next one, I'm like, whoa, this interview is so good. Like so
Thais, do you have a favorite moment from the trip?
My favorite moment was visiting the headquarters. Like,
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
knowing the people that we interview was like, it's always for me the best part is where justify we spending our of our time doing Kickstory. But when we were in Brazil, we asked brands like, oh, okay, we're going to the United States. Can you help us doing this, doing that? Can we meet the headquarters? And nobody helped us. Because
Wow.
like sometimes the communications is a bit difficult. So it's not because they don't want, it's because it's hard sometimes. So we got to the headquarters of Reebok and then Nike headquarters like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? And like we got this opportunity because we worked really hard and we got to meet people and it was insane. Like getting inside Nike's headquarters was like I never thought of it.
It's like it is like Disneyland for people who love sneakers.
yeah, it is really
You always listen about it and people talking about it were like, okay, maybe my day will come and then out of the blue it happened. So
yeah.
it was
That was nuts. Like going to Portland was crazy. Like, it's a weird place, and
Well, yeah, and you did it in like when Portland was still going through a transformation, especially after COVID and stuff like. You went during a really crazy time there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy. But
But we live in São Paulo, so
yeah, like
It's a
honestly,
bit
it's,
crazier,
it's
so it's
just like everything in one spot, and here we have like a huge city of
is
that,
crazy as well.
basically.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. We met so many
When you
people.
when you mentioned you're still releasing these articles and these interviews over time. Do you guys have a plan for Kickstory long term? Like, do you think about like what the future is, or kind of what more you want to do with it? Is it more interviews? Is it different parts of the globe? Like, do you want to do an Asia tour? Like, do you think about like what you want to do next with it?
yes, so this year we are going to Europe. So
Oh,
we're
let's go!
tour.
yeah,
Hell yeah!
So we are very, very excited for this. And like our plan is like to try to interview the most amount of people that we can, like in meeting new people. So we visit some cities in Brazil and we really want to visit more because we're doing a lot outside of Brazil and we think that here we have a really strong sneaker culture and we want to explore more of this. And yeah, we want to travel as much as we can. So that's
yeah.
the thing. And now this year we are starting to like trying to make Kickstory more profitable. So we're trying to talk more brands about doing like advertising.
Yeah, like
like
the thing is, like Kickstory, everything we put out on our Instagram, because Kickstory is actually like all the interviews on our website. That's like the crown jewel. Instagram is Instagram. So, but everything we post is like has to be done by us. We don't repost stuff. Like if someone wants to talk about a specific sneaker for a launch and make that a project, we'll have to find out a way to do it our way, like creatively, like through illustration and or whatever. Like we'll take pictures. I don't know. So we're trying to make that a little bit more profitable.
So we don't have to do as much work on Kickstory production because this kind of like we spend like 70% of our time doing production and 30% of Kickstory. So we want to be like more half and half. And then maybe someday Kickstory will be like make more money and then we can live only with this. So that's kind of our plan. We're trying to do.
Like we understood like early on, like it's very cool to like do these interviews and stuff, but you also have to make it like doable. Like it takes a long time. Like the interviews alone, not talking about like other kinds of content that we do, like interviews alone take a long time because we go there physically, we talk to people, we take pictures, we have to edit pictures, we have to transcribe the text. We usually we translate it, so it's Portuguese and English. And we like most times we also do like small videos of the interview, so we all have to edit that and like do this whole thing and put it out, and that takes a long time. So if we can make some money to help us,
that's great.
that's the goal. And like I think moving forward, it's like yes, I think we want to interview as many people as we can, and along the way figuring out like the best ways to show that to people, because especially being from Brazil where sneaker culture is like very early on compared to like the United States, I think this is like a healthy way to educate people. Like if you want to know about, I don't know, like designers or stuff or anything related to sneakers that's not like when is it coming out and how much it costs, like we want to be that platform. Like we want, and being like, since it's in English as well, we want like you can access that from anywhere in the world, but especially here in Brazil, I think is something that's what we want to give out. Like we want to put that out for people. So you have like an emotional kind of connection to sneakers, not only like money wise.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing, right? I mean Brazil's such a big country. People forget how big of a country it is, right? And like if you can bring all those people together as like one hub, like in a community, and connect people through the stories of people globally, I think that could be really, really powerful. But to your point, like you also got to make money. So I'm like, where are you going in Europe for this European tour? I'm so amazed by that. I leave for Europe actually on Wednesday, but if you ever need somebody in a certain city, I'm more than happy to give you a million suggestions if you need them.
Nice.
We will love that.
Yeah, for sure.
So for sure, we're going to Madrid, Lisbon, and Milan. That's the 3 cities that we are sure that we're going, and maybe we are going to put 2 more cities there. So we are still planning. We are seeing like people that we can interview and which city do they live.
Yeah.
And then we start to make this, but we will love that.
Maybe Amsterdam.
You should definitely go to Amsterdam. There's a ton of great people in footwear in Amsterdam.
Yeah, that's like the reason, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
You should go to Amsterdam.
We wanted to go to London as well, but it's a bit harder because of the price of stuff. So
it's really expensive.
maybe we won't manage this time.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited for you guys when that trip happens, and definitely can't wait for all the interviews to come out. Definitely always nice to see the current interviews, even as still as you execute and put those out. It's fun to see, the backstories of people, and you guys do such a nice job of, like you mentioned, even the transcribing in multiple languages, which so many people don't do, right? Like it's nice that you can kind of counterbalance English to Portuguese and vice versa. What's something that you want to be like really successful at this for the rest of this year? Obviously you have the trip, but like if there's one thing that you really want to happen, is there something that comes to mind, whether it's one specific person interview or like, something, oh, we really want to get, another Nike production deal or something like that. Like, do you think about like, oh, like my goal for 2023 is what? Sorry, I put you on the spot.
That's so hard. I think it's hard because we are not good at planning stuff. We just do it as they appear. So our tour in the United States only happened because we were first only going to Boston, and then the guy from Nike, he was like, okay, maybe you should, if you're going to the United States, you should go as well to LA. And we're like, okay, so if we're going to LA, we have to go to Portland as well because it's really close. So like 1 month before we go into the trip, we changed the whole thing. And then we decided that we'll go to 4 cities instead of 1. So,
yeah.
And I never thought that we would go to the headquarters and everything. So I don't know what to expect. But for me, the goal is always to make Kickstory more, so we can make more interviews with Kickstory and, and really try to make Kickstory more
known.
More known. And
yeah,
we want to be more known in Brazil, of course, but also outside it. So my goal is always Kickstory to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess is like interviewing all those people that are on the list that like
we have a 200.
Yeah, we have like a huge list of people, and I'm usually working and like doing research and listening to podcasts and stuff, and every day I'm like, oh, we gotta interview this person. So like if I can get like 3 or 4 of these people would be like awesome.
Wait, you have a 200-person list?
There's like a
holy shit.
Yeah.
Who's categorize it for of countries, cities, and Instagram.
Oh, you're that organized. Okay.
Yeah.
So who's
we're not good at planning, but we're organized. Like she's really organized.
Wait, you gotta give me like who's like one name on the list that you're like, it's a stretch, right? Like it's like a moonshot. Maybe they'll accept, maybe they won't. Like who's like a reach interview for you that like would be an amazing goal to like accomplish? Well, does anybody come to mind?
If we're not talking about famous people, like famous singers or famous players, well, I'd love to interview Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Because she has her own Air Forces and she really likes sneakers, and I'm a big fan of her work. So,
I
didn't put her on the list because it's like maybe we have to wait a little more because
you got to grow Kickstory a little bit more. But then that would be a cool interview, and it makes sense because she does love sneakers, right?
Yeah.
And she has her own, so that's amazing. And
I don't know, like there's a million designers that I would like to interview, but at the same time, like I'm a big basketball guy, so like if I get close to any athlete, would be like insane. But I don't know, like it would have to be like an interview that really makes sense, like sneaker wise. I don't like, it's not that I don't want, I'll take anyone who wants to participate for sure, but it would be really cool if it was like a player that had like some special connection with like a sneaker or like a process or something. That would be amazing. But
I remember one person, Stella McCartney. Like she's on my list in of Kickstory. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great name.
For Adidas, like I love all the clothes that she did for Adidas and her sneakers. So
that's probably possible. That's like a stretch, but it's possible.
Well, we will try.
Really?
to get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like,
think that would be super cool. I can't wait for that interview to come out one day. Thais and Ian, we have a closing tradition that's become a tradition on this podcast. I always like to ask people if they can name one or two or multiple names of people who have inspired or helped them out in their careers in your life. Who would you give your flowers to give them a shout out, and somebody who means a lot to you and who's helped you along the way? If whoever thinks of an answer first, I guess you could go ahead. But I always like asking this question because it's easy, like in the world that we live in, to be surrounded by negativity, but it's I feel like we don't acknowledge the people who help us enough, and so I want to give people a chance to shout somebody out, whether it's your parents or a family member or whatever. But who would you give your flowers to if you can shout somebody out?
I have so many
yeah.
flowers to give.
I love that.
I'll be a bit more like generic, but first, like for sure, my family, my parents, like Kickstory takes a lot of our time, and when we started this, I was still living with them and stuff. And I get it; it's really hard for them to understand what it is. So, like, shout out to them for sure, and to like all the people that like believe in our work and open doors for us. Even like every single person that has participated for sure, because
They took their
like,
time to.
yeah, like we just randomly pull up to people's houses and like people talk to us so other people can hear that conversation. It's like amazing. So it's, I mean, to some people it might be not that big of a deal, but like every single person that comes on is like deserves a shout out for sure, because like you become part of like this like community thing for us, and hopefully other people can see that too, for sure. Yeah.
For me, we didn't mention it, but like here in Brazil, we have like a group of photographers that help us doing Kickstory. And so when we are traveling, yeah, it's the one doing pictures. But when we are here in Brazil, we have our friends that take the pictures, and they are like all amazing. So I would give all the flowers to them. Also, my family, of course, they know it, but like they really like put a lot of effort and time to make Kickstory happen. They were going with us to the places, and they spent time. They did their work, so I'll give to them, because without them, Kickstory wouldn't be here today. So.
It's as much as it's theirs as much as ours. It's, and basically that's why I don't consider myself a photographer, because we work with super talented like actual photographers. So I just like to. But yeah, they're the best for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. That's a super cool shout out. I appreciate that. And then obviously, like where can people find you? It's obviously Kickstory, but like, whether it's what's your Instagram handle, what's your website, let the people know where they could find you.
You know all the
So we are on TikTok at Kickstory,
Okay.
Instagram that is underline Kickstory, and we have YouTube Kickstory.
Yeah.
And our website is kickstory.co. So
.co.
.co.
It's not .com. And
If you write Kickstory,
I didn't know you guys had a TikTok or a YouTube, so I'll make sure to follow and subscribe, because I didn't know that. So
yeah, we're not like really big. Like we don't post a lot on YouTube, but we have some stuff that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we did some reviews.
Sometimes I do some kind of crazy review stuff.
Yeah.
I do that on my. This is gonna be off tangent for the last couple of minutes of this interview, but like I do unboxings on my YouTube as well, and like they'll range from like 100 views to like fucking 18,000 views, and it makes zero sense.
Yeah, it makes zero sense, and it takes. I mean, if you check one out, like one of the Reebok ones, we like to do it like nicely with like a lot of graphics and stuff, so it takes a long ass time.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk a lot. Like the actual video has like 40 minutes, 1 hour, and we have to do like 50 minutes. So, and it's like from some like random ass Reebok shoes. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I really like doing that, but it takes a lot of time. So.
Well, everybody make sure you follow along their journey, kickstory.co, kickstory or _ kickstory on Instagram at kickstory. Just Google Kickstory, and Ian and Thais will come up. Thank you guys for coming on and sharing your story and hanging out for a little bit. It's great to see you guys again, and I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you so much. It was really nice being part of it. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us and like doing full circle.